Right, it's the 13th of 8th, 2026. There's pretty much every time I've gone out, most days, apart from the malicious day here and there, there's hardly been any people or any traffic about since roughly the time period Spain won the World Cup, basically, in the FIFA Championship. So I don't know why that is. There are still people that are thinking I'm in a relationship with Ella, or that I'm going to be with Ella. There are people questioning why I'm not with Ella, and they've got some people telling me that I'm stupid, and saying how stupid can you fucking get, saying what's wrong with Ella. But what they don't realise is this Ella, I only ever saw on one day, and have no way of contacting her, and I'm not allowed to. If she contacts me, I think that's okay, but because of the stuff that I put on Facebook, going back 4 months ago and before, whenever, I got in trouble for it because the authority found out about my posts on Facebook, and they put me down as trying to stalk her, when all I was doing is trying to make contact with her, because I knew her on that one day, and it's the nearest person to ever like me in my whole life that's female, of that type. Anyway, as far as today goes, it just seems to be ramming a loud bike or timing a bike literally to my privates, times every erection, itchy rim, itchy bell end, and tingling whatever, and time to itchy impulses and the back end or whatever. They need to time a bike. The last 3 days in particular, this bike action has gone back to 700 to 1,000 plus per day. We've already had 6 months of that, and I'm not very happy about it. And it actually started the same evening that I saw Ella on that specific day at Mind, and it's been going on since. But in the time period of the last 5-6 weeks, there's been a slight reduction until the last 3 days, where it's gone back to 700 to 1,000 per day. Now, I had a message this morning. I don't know who this person is, because this person's intelligent, because I don't give my email out that much. I've stated it once on Facebook, but it's only there temporarily, going back. So this person, obviously, well, basically what she told me is she's 17, she's got a boyfriend, and she told me that she doesn't want to upset me or hurt me in any way, but she's been made pregnant by her boyfriend, and saying that if she did ever become single, that I'm going to be a single mother, and said I'm really sorry about this, but I do love my boyfriend, is what she was saying. And obviously the mistake has been made, hasn't it? However, her relationship in the last month hasn't been going down too well with the boyfriend, roughly not long after she was made pregnant, and things are starting to go downhill. They're still together, but she was saying that she might be splitting up if things get any worse. But the problem is, I'm not going with a stale piece of dirt that's well used for first ever sexual relationship in my whole life, when I've never had anyone. I don't mean to be nasty or be cruel or anything like that, but to treat me like a piece of shit and to give me the leftovers of what everyone else's mistakes, all my enemies' mistakes, why they get the enjoyment of them, and then give me the fucking stale leftovers, I'm not having it. That's taking the fucking piss. Yeah, if I had someone in the past and had plenty of sex, I'd accept that, yes. But the problem is, I've had nothing, apart from being sexually abused as a child, many times, with Jesus fucking the guts in and out of me, forcing me to enjoy being sexually abused, suffering my feelings out over me and whatever, forcing me to enjoy it. So, if God can't provide nothing, and obviously all I'm told is you've got to go with someone twice the age of someone that sexually abused you as a child, twice as stale, twice as ugly, rougher skin, for first ever relationship. This is not a fucking answer or replacement or compensation for the things that happened to me as a child, is it? So the next thing I want to mention is it's the same in my last life, according to a psychic. A 20-year-old reading from 20 years ago, which my mum got for me. The psychic basically said I was sexually abused in my last life as a little girl, and it happened persistently, and saying I had it really bad in my last life, and saying that I never had anyone in that life either. I never had a partner, and I died in my early 20s tragically. And she did say on the thing, when my mum told me about it, that she said that I was a really good looking sexual type that all the men would have fancied if, in my previous life, but that wasn't to be. Then obviously what happens when I'm born again? So what I put on the internet, on Facebook, or what I've told authority is I want someone a bit younger than me, that's not a mother, that's got a smooth appearance, and that's basically all I'm asking for. And they're saying that you've got a rather strict criteria. You need to open up more. Go for a middle-aged woman or go with a mother. And I thought, you don't fucking tell people that have been sexually abused, never had anyone, to go with a stale piece of fucking shit. And they've even told me to get medication for this problem, or told me to see a doctor, or to get therapy or stuff like that. Anything that diverts you and reverses you away from having sex, basically, is what they tell you. The other thing I want to mention is, Jesus Christ in his living life. He had Mary Magdalene, Mary Magdalene. And yet, I'm told to go with people older than the age Jesus Christ was when he was crucified, let alone when he was with Mary Magdalene, by these ones that are fussy about the age gap. So I just wanted to mention that as well. And then you've got to take into account that for the last, since 2008, I've had to put up with a loud bike, hitting my penis, ripping my penis apart, timed to every erection, as I mentioned at the beginning of this specific recording that I'm doing, documenting today's problems. And also they time lookalikes to people that sexually abused me as a child, with a loud bike that occurs regardless, and it's timed on every hit. Every single bike on the road is only being programmed to my fucking penis, my privates. And I'm getting very fucked off with it, especially when it's 700 to over 1,000 per day for 6 months in a row, apart from 5 days where it's 300 to 400 in a 6-month period, straight after I saw Ella on that specific day at Mind, on the only day, one and only day where I actually saw her. So, yeah, gets better and better, doesn't it? 2026 is the worst year on record for fallouts. But these fallouts are not my doing. So basically it's been roughly 40 people that have turned against me quite simply because they've either got into a relationship or have been made pregnant where the mistake has been made. Because of this includes people online, because obviously I don't know 40 people in total in person, but this is a mixture of people online and in person. There's actually 2 that went to the community place that I visit, the youngest ones in fact, and they've both been made pregnant in recent times. And both of them in fact, there's quite a few people actually, I haven't seen since, Ella's the latest one I've seen of the newer ones, and that was on the 14th of January, and I only saw her on the one day. But these mistakes have been made, and all they're telling me is, basically since that time, they've been trying to accuse me of having sex with Sadie Dando, Stephanie Jail, Amy Weston, and other names. And Ian Dando. But the problem is I've never had sex with them. The other thing I want to mention is, after that setup was occurring and they pissed about with doing that for months and months and months, they started indulging in the setup with suggestions to suggest my old man Mike, but the way that they're doing it is far-fetched, and there's been a couple of months of that so far, and it's getting more nastier as well, and the way they're doing it is far-fetched and below the belt, but that's the way they want to do it. And obviously, as you know, the knife threats and the gun threats and the child rapist threats and the woman rapist threats, that's all on the increase at this minute in time, so it's not a good, things are not getting better as such. However, the threats have been nastier and they have been rougher, and there has been a lot more in quantity than what's happening at this minute in time, so it's still not terrible, but it is getting worse again. And people are telling me that I'm not having sex and you're not having anyone, and go and fuck yourself, you're being fucking knifed or whatever, and saying you have to wait until your next life, you're not having any, there's no one left, you're going old bag, a stale piece of shit. and saying that you're a sick cunt if you don't go with a middle-aged lady. That's fucking stale. That's their fucking answer. But yet these people that are saying this, they lost their virginity when they were teenagers. So basically, I got to go with someone for first ever sexual relationship, proper sex, in my age group when everybody else has enjoyed a teenager. And that's not fucking acceptable, and I'm not fucking taking that. I'm not being fucking having a piss taken out of me, especially when I've been abused and not had sex at all. You know, the minimal, you know, is the way my life's been planned by the Creator God is fucking crooked as fuck. The bastard is wretched, and he's warped, and he's so fucking sneaky, mischievous, and fucking sly. So we've got to go back to Wayne's World to explain that documentary and the Michael Jackson prostitute, which looks very similar to Michael Jackson mixed with Katie Durham, the TV presenter, and possibly a hint of the looks of my dad Mike in her as well. And she wasn't exactly very sexy looking, this person that scammed me, and she only did a few moves, and that was it. And apparently the neighbours that were at my old place were having a discussion in the corridor, which I wasn't supposed to hear, and they said they'd done that on purpose to get money out of him, because one of the neighbours wanted to move in or move out and they didn't have enough money. So they used it as like a setup to cause that to occur when I was living at Burnham-on-Sea, which I think was in March 2018. Otherwise, basically, I haven't had sex in my whole life apart from being abused as a child, so something's got to be done about it, because I'm not accepting a stale piece of shit and someone I can't fancy with rough skin. They're basically telling me to go with a granny, and the setups are telling me that I'm sick as fuck if I don't go with a granny on a Zimmer frame for first ever sexual relationship in that small-minded fucking crap way. Yet these bastards that are using noetic science technology, or whoever's causing this setup, have all had fucking teenagers, and they got the right to insult people, rip people to pieces, slice their fucking wrists with the pleroma or God, the real God, and just take you a fucking part. That's our answer to everything. And it's like you're being fucking forced to have capital punishment on you and to be executed in sexual murder for another life, because obviously it happened in my last life, as I mentioned, by a psychic I was talking to, that my mum got a reading for me for. Incidentally, I want to mention something about this Ella. I never really mentioned this psychic reading, but even after that one day that I saw her, that psychic that I saw, I twisted the name at the time because I didn't want to say nothing, but it was actually Ella and not the Olive that I said initially in the reading. But I didn't want to give the name away because I wanted to see if things, whether it come true, but no, it didn't. Yeah, I twisted the name. I had no choice to. But I'm not really supposed to be mentioning in the cellar, but if I'm not mentioning it in a way where it's like you're trying to do it in like a way where you're trying to contact her, then just the name and how I'm just doing this documentary now, there's no problem with it.